There comes a time in every YouTuber's career when they need to make a really low effort tier video. And right now, the time has come. I could lie to you and tell you that I'm doing this tier video because I really love Dark Souls and it's my favorite series of all time, which it is. But really it's because I'm kind of bound up with college and work, so shit. Time for a low effort tier video on the top Dark Souls bosses for all 3 video games. Now to just start it off, I'm gonna say thanks to S. Chris Official, whoever the fuck that is, for making this. I don't know if he included all bosses, so if something's missing, oh my bad. I have no clue, I didn't make this shit. And I'm also gonna go ahead and take the okay category and put it down because I feel like average is better than okay, and that just doesn't make much sense to me. But overall, this is gonna be a combination of lore for each boss, my personal opinions of them, and I've played each game several times over, especially Dark Souls 1 and 3. So let's get into this shit. So first off, we're gonna pick 3 from 1, 3 from 2, and then 3 from 3, and hit it that way. And just to randomly pick one, I'm gonna go with Taurus Demon. I like Taurus Demon. I think he's a really good introduction to like that first hard boss that you get in the series. I am gonna put him probably, I'd say average, maybe. He's not a bad boss. I wouldn't say he's okay, actually. I'll put him in the top of the okay because I think he's just barely scraping on average. There's a shit ton better bosses than Taurus Demon. I think really I just like him for the nostalgia, but that's about it. Sorry, buddy. Next up, we're gonna do Asylum Demon. Again, it's not a terrible boss, but he doesn't really offer anything too crazy. He's really easy to beat. I think most people get past him without a problem, as long as they figure out they have to go through that side passage. I can't put him over okay, and I definitely can't put him over Taurus Demon. And last but not least, for the first go around, I'm gonna do Pinwheel. I honestly might put him in the awful section. Nah, I can't do that. I think the lore around him is pretty cool. That's about all he has going for him. Probably would be the very low bad tier, just because of the gameplay around him. But other than that, he's bad. He's bad. I think we all know he's bad. So I'm going to start Dark Souls 2 off really well. It's going to get bad really quickly. I'm going to go ahead and do, I think it's Sin the Slumbering Dragon. If I'm correct, that's one of the final bosses for the DLC. And I thought that boss was freaking awesome. That boss was one of the best dragon bosses in the series, in my opinion. So I would put him at pretty awesome. In the awesome category. If I'm correct though, his fire or whatever he does destroys your weapons, which really sucked, but overall I would say that boss was really fun to play against. Next up, I think I'm gonna go with Nishandra. I didn't think she was all that great of a boss. I didn't find the boss fight to really be hard at all, and it wasn't that engaging in my opinion. I think she definitely is going to be under Taurus Demon and Asylum Demon. I didn't like her boss fight all that much. Next up, we're going to do Skeleton Lords, and I think all of us can agree that this boss was absolute dog shit. Basically, you're just running around Black Ops Zombie style trying to knock all of them down. I would skip this boss if I could. I don't find this boss fun at all. It's not even hard. It's just not a good boss. Next up, we're going into Dark Souls 3, my favorite game of all time. I'm not even kidding. And of course I do have a little bit of a bias here, but I just love this game so much. First off, I'm just gonna pick randomly. Let's do a Half-Light Spear of the Church. I think this boss has a really cool aspect to it, where other players can be the boss, but other than that, I don't know if I could really say that this boss is great. I would probably put it at the top of okay. I don't think that this boss really warrants a good score, but it's not something that I'm dreading going against. Next up, I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Soul of Cinder. This boss, it's got to be the first one that's going in the legendary tier. This boss is just awesome. Soul of Cinder, the music kicks in, and it represents everyone who's like kindled the fire in the previous games, and the different types of weapons that it uses, and just how it's a it's just the conclusion to the trilogy. Amazing fight, amazing boss, amazing atmosphere, amazing arena, god tier music. It'd be a sin to not put it in legendary. Next up is Abyss Watchers, and for me, Abyss Watchers, this might be controversial. I know that they are, for a lot of people, one of the best bosses in Dark Souls 3, but I would either put them at very high tier good or low tier awesome. I didn't really no, because I would say they are better than the Slumbering Dragon. You know what? Scratch that. I'm gonna put them in awesome right now, but I think over time they might stretch out a little bit. I really enjoyed the fight, but it's just that fight didn't hit it off with me as much to put it in the legendary tier. While it's still good, I can't put it that high. Now that I've got a couple on here to compare different bosses together, I might actually move the Slumbering Dragon down to good, because I see where I put the Abyss Watchers, and I can't really compare Slumbering Dragon to them. Over time, these rankings might change, so who the hell knows? I might be moving these around quite a bit. Now going back to Dark Souls 1, I'm gonna have to go with Crossbreed Priscilla, and this might be a little controversial, but I'm gonna put her in the legendary tier. Why is that? Is it because I'm just some sort of weeb that, you know, just fans over this boss? Well, not really. The main thing that I really love this boss for is the fact that it is the only boss, right, that you can go up against but not fight. And I don't know, maybe I'm just some sort of internal weeb and I just don't realize it. I do have Priscilla tattooed on my left arm, so that definitely is a little bit of a bias thing right there. But Priscilla, legendary boss, and shit, you can shit on it all you want. Let me know if you disagree in the comments, but that's where I gotta put her. Yeah, she ain't budget. Next up is gonna be Capra Demon. I hate this boss, but that's just because he's annoying as fuck. Overall, I would probably put him first one to go in average. His boss fight is still, it's more engaging than these, but he's probably gonna end up going to the bottom of the average tier. He's not great, but I wouldn't say he's okay. He's just average. And that's about all I gotta say about Capra Demon. Fuck that guy. Fuck those dogs. I hate that boss. Especially during my no death runs on Twitch. Hey, go check out my Twitch. I barely stream there anymore. That guy always fucked up my runs. Time to address the elephant in the room. Bed of Chaos, absolute dog shit. I don't even need to say anything on it. I'm moving on. Going back to Dark Souls 2, I'm gonna start it off with Demon of Song. I'm gonna go ahead and put this boss probably around good. I'd say high average to good. I don't know. I might put it high average. I like the boss, but I wouldn't say that it was good, because to me, average means that it's enjoyable, but it's not something that's like, it's not a boss fight that's really all that memorable, or that you were just really engaged in. And Demon of Song, it's like right on that cusp of being good. It just doesn't make it so. Demon of Song, average. Sorry if I offend people, because I know that is a lot of people's favorite boss in Dark Souls 2, at least the people that I've talked to, but I can't put it any higher than average. Old Iron King, I don't know. I really don't know where to put this one, because I somewhat enjoyed this fight. Like, I like this fight, and I don't know why, because I think the actual mechanics of it are not great. Like, it doesn't do anything special. It's just basically ceaseless discharge in my opinion, but a little more engaging. I don't know. I think with this one I might put it on average. I'm surprised. I thought it was gonna put it either okay or bad, but now that I'm thinking about it, it might be. I'm gonna put it top tier okay. That's the safest place that I can put it, because I can't necessarily say that it's average. I don't feel okay with putting it in average, but I could easily say that it's probably one of the best okay ones. Last one for this round for Dark Souls 2, Prowling Magus, or Magus, or however you want to say it. Skipped. That boss is terrible. I am gonna put it definitely above Beta Chaos though. It's just a bunch of bitches crawling on the floor and you gotta take out the main dude. That's it. It's not crazy, not really all that fun, and it's a joke of a boss. That's about it. Coming back around to Dark Souls 3, I'm gonna pick Sister Fried. This might be a little controversial, alright? But she's most likely, until I see anything else, my favorite Dark Souls boss of all time. The amount of speed that she has and the amount of time that I spent fighting her, she still is the one boss that gives me trouble every single time that I face her. It takes me about 30 attempts, and once we beat these games, we're always looking for that next kick, that next boss that gives us that trouble, and she remains to be that boss for me throughout multiple playthroughs of Dark Souls 3. Just the whole arena burning down and her moves and everything. It's just, that boss fight is so badass. I love Soul of Cinder. I wish I could put them on equal levels, but Sister Fried just comes out slightly higher for me if I have to rank them like this. Vort of the Boreal Valley. I'm gonna put this boss at high tier average. Boss is pretty good design wise, he looks pretty cool and all that, but you really just gotta stay under him a little bit, and I want to say that he's good. Actually, he might be low tier good. I'd scratch that. He might be low tier good. He's just on the border. This is getting a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I thought I had all these bosses ranked already in my head, and now that I'm actually talking it out, shit. Is he good? Yeah, he's good. He's a good boss. Fuck it, no. He's top average, all right? I'm going with my gun on this one. Bro is average, all right? He top tier average, and I'm gonna feel bad for that later, but I'm going with my gun on this one. I can't put him any higher. Next up, Curse Rotted Greatwood. I know a lot of people think that this boss would probably be in the awful or skip tier, but I actually enjoy going up against this boss, just because I think it looks cool, and I can't really describe why I like this boss. It's just one of those bosses that you just like, even though a lot of people hate. And I know that the boss mechanics are really shitty, and it's just one of those gimmicky bosses where you just gotta basically hit its ball sacks constantly until they explode. But I mean, I don't know. I enjoyed it more than Chandra, but I can't put it above Asylum Demon. That's Asylum Demon's iconic. I did have more fun than Nishandra or Nishandra. Y'all can get mad at me in the comments for mispronouncing all this shit. I'm not the best at knowing all these names, but shit, I just hit him with the sword. That's all I need to be doing. Back to Dark Souls 1, Ceaseless Discharge. Besides having a terrible name, I'm gonna go ahead and put this one in skipped, because if you know how to cheese him, it's not even really a cheese because it's part of the actual boss fight. You just run off and hit him a couple times and then he's dead. I don't know. He's not really a boss that I look forward to. It's just, oh shit, he's right there. I need to get some extra souls, and that's it. I don't know. He's not even a boss, in my opinion. So he's going in the skipped, not because I think he's just terrible, right? His mechanics aren't terrible or anything. He's just not a boss that is a boss. So Sanctuary Guardian, I'm gonna put this boss at good. It's not a boss that I ever have trouble with, and I've never even died to him, but the whole mechanics that he has and the fight itself is actually pretty engaging, and I enjoy going against him every single time that I start up the DLC for Dark Souls 1. So high tier good, above Slumbering Dragon. I think that's a pretty good place for him. We'll see how it changes once we get more of these bosses on there, but I think that's a pretty well-placed spot for him. Fire Sage Demon, it's just Asylum Demon, but on fire. Bro, I don't know. Asylum Demon's iconic because it's the start. I might even put Asylum Demon, or Demon Fire Sage, my bad, below Cursed Riding Greatwood, because at that point you've already faced that boss probably twice already, because you also got to remember, what was the other one? I don't remember his name. Stray Demon. You already faced both of them. So by the time you get to Demon Fire Sage, you're kind of sick of how many times you face that reskinned boss. So I got to put him right there. And while we're at it, let's just go ahead and throw Stray Demon into the mix. I would go ahead and put him above Fire Sage Demon, because at least at that point you're like, okay, well, you know, second time around, I mean, both of those demons, bosses, whatever, they're both ass, but I'll just put them right there. So I may have added a couple extra to Dark Souls 1, and I didn't mean to, but shit, let's head into Dark Souls 2. My bad. With Dark Souls 2 coming back around the corner, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Last Giant. I liked this boss. People really don't see this boss as like something that special. This boss to me was one of my first impressions of the game, and I really liked it. I don't know why. I don't know where I'd place him though. I would put him above Capper Demon. I think I actually would, yeah. The boss is just kind of sad, and it gives off like this sad feeling of it's the last of its kind. And that really resonated with me on my first playthrough. I thought the boss fight was a little emotional, and it's something that slightly puts it over Capper Demon. Now I gotta do Sarah, Varg, and Grave Robber. I hate this boss with all of my being. I'm gonna put it on skip, and it's just barely gonna be over Bed of Chaos. I would put it under, but I'm not that crazy. I hate this boss. I sat there for hours trying to beat it. You could just say skill issue, get good. And I'm gonna agree with you. I'm not good at that boss. I hate that boss. I fucking hate that boss. I fucking hate that boss. Fuck that boss. That's all I gotta say. Last up for this round, I'm gonna go with probably Lost Sinner. I actually really liked Lost Sinner, and I think I would put him under Capra Demon. I don't remember too much about this boss. Let me look it up. I need to see a little bit of this boss before making my ranking. Yeah, I did really like this boss. I had a little bit of trouble with this boss. I think he was a little, like, he dodges your attacks really well, if I remember correctly. I used a mace when I fought him. I don't know how it is with other weapons, but he just stayed out of my reach and was a little tough. But overall, I like that boss, and I would put him in average, but I don't think I could put him above Capra Demon. Next up, we go with Fume Knight. And this boss, I have a very love-hate relationship with. I would put him in good. I think he was a good boss. The only thing that keeps him from being awesome is that stupid-ass freaking grab that he does. I'm not going to go into Dark Souls 2 hitboxes, and I know that that's something that I argue with a lot of people on, but I think what keeps him from being awesome is a lot of the hitbox issues that he has. I don't know if I'd put him above Slumbering Dragon. You know what? I will. I think he would be a whole lot better if those hitbox issues weren't a thing, because I do enjoy the fight. I really do, but it's really frustrating when you dodge behind him and you still get hit. Or I think he does, I don't know if he does a grab, or if Sir Alone is the one that does. I know he also does a sort of a grab, which also gets you. Like I said, I haven't played Dark Souls 2 as much as the other games. I've only done 2 full playthroughs. I'm just going off of that, but I remember being very annoyed by getting killed by this dude due to really terrible hitboxes. Going back to Dark Souls 3, first up, I'm going to go ahead and do Dark Eater Madir. I really love this boss fight. It's very cinematic. And very annoying at the same time, just due to how large his health bar is. It doesn't give me as much trouble as Sister Free does, but it still kicks my ass quite a bit. I'm gonna put him in the legendary tier, and I'm gonna move Crossbreed Priscilla down because I really like her, but not as a boss fight. I like her just as a boss. I like everything about Midir. I think his whole arena is pretty cool. His attacks are dope as fuck. Like that laser attack that he does and everything like that. And you just feel really badass beating him. But it does suck that his health bar is so fat. It takes like 10 minutes to kill that motherfucker. Bro's still going in legendary though. An absolute great ass boss fight. Deacons of the Deep. It's a cool boss arena. The lore around it of like them guarding the grave of Aldrich, or I haven't watched a Vothi video in a while. I don't remember it all that well. Something along those lines though. It's pretty cool. The boss fight itself, I feel weird about this one. I want to put it. I don't feel like it justifies going under Nasandra. I feel like it's better than Demon Fire Sage, Stray Demon, First Rotted Greatwood. Oh, don't go all the way back there, motherfucker. Better than Asylum Demon. Better than the Taurus Demon. No, I can't put it above Taurus Demon. Taurus Demon's iconic. But I would put it better than Asylum Demon. My reasoning? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I think probably just because of the lore and the arena, but I can't put it over Taurus Demon. The boss fight isn't that great, and I don't think that it justifies going over Taurus Demon. Half-Light, it at least has some variables which make it better. Deacons of the Deep, sorry buddy, but you're gonna stay down there in the dirt. High Lord Wolnir, it's a really cool boss fight. The arena is cool. You get sucked into that skull or goblet skull thingy. Could use better choice of words, but fuck it. But all you do is hit his bracelets and then he gets sucked into the void. Bro gets the big suck. I'd put him at the top of okay, honestly. I'm okay with that. I do feel like he's better than Old Iron King. I can't say that it's a bad fight. Next up, we're gonna go with Ornstein and Smo. This boss, I'm gonna have to put in legendary just because of how iconic that fight is. It's the first true roadblock that Dark Souls players generally face if they start off with Dark Souls 1. It's just a really awesome boss fight. Lore aside, because the lore for each of those characters is also pretty interesting. It's just extremely memorable. Maybe not to as much to others as it is to me. I know one of my buddies beat him first try, and I don't know how the fuck he did. It took me around 20-30 tries, and I was banging my head against a wall. But overall, legendary boss fight. It definitely deserves a spot there. Next up, we got Moonlight Butterfly. And I am gonna get shit on for this, but I genuinely like Moonlight Butterfly as a fight, and oops, you're not going there. The fight, and just as a boss, like design-wise. I thought this boss was really fun to go against. I would put it, honestly, high average. I want to put it in low good, but I can't do that because I know that it doesn't really belong there. I would just put it there because of my bias, and of course it's my ranking list. I can do whatever the hell I want, but I can't justify it. I think it would be high average, and I think that for a lot of people is still going to be too high because I'm still putting Moonlight Butterfly over Taurus Demon and Asylum Demon, which, saying that out loud blows my mind. Why the fuck would I do that? But I don't know. I really like that boss, and that's something that I think a lot of people are going to hate, but I don't know. Moonlight Butterfly for the win, baby. Next up, we got Bell Gargoyles. I really like Bell Gargoyles. I mean, this also could be seen as like one of the first roadblocks that players will go into, but I don't think it's that big of a roadblock. I would put them at good. They're pretty good. But I don't know if the iconic nature of this boss makes it deserve awesome. Are they better? Okay, let's just do it this way. Okay, scratch everything I just said. Are they better than Slumbering Dragon? Yes. Are they better than Fume Knight? Yes. Are they better than Sanctuary Guardian? Yes. They are going to go top tier good right now. If I ever decide that they are going to go awesome, it'll be when there's nothing else better than them. Sorry, but Bell Gargoyles, they're gonna stay in the good category for now. Making our way back to Dark Souls 2, I'm gonna go with Flexile Sentry. Flex. I don't know how to pronounce that shit. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm gonna put this boss at probably shit. I might do it at average. I like that boss. I thought that boss was pretty cool. I will give them credit for trying to do that little thing where the water rises as you fight the boss, and if you're not fast enough, then I guess that kills you. But I don't think I've ever seen anyone not be fast enough and get killed by that water. So I'm gonna put him at average, low tier average, because I think it's a cool fight. I mean, that's about all it has going for it, really. Royal Rat Authority, I'm gonna put it in okay. I can't justify saying that boss fight is bad. It's not bad. It's just not great, you know? It's just a big old dog with a couple of rats. That's essentially all it is. It's still fun, kind of. I don't know if I can justify that as fun, but it's a boss fight and it does its purpose. It's okay, and that's really all it needs to do. So going bottom tier okay. Also, now that I'm thinking about it, side note, I'm gonna go ahead and move Skeleton Lords up, and I don't need a reason. All right, it's my tier list. Fuck it. I don't gotta give you any justification. All right. As for this round, we're gonna do the Rotten. I'm gonna put him in bad. I don't feel like this boss is really all that great, and I'm gonna say that it's less iconic than Pinwheel. Pinwheel at least actually has a little bit going for him in terms of that. The Rotten is a boss that I forget about, and when I get to him, I realize, oh yeah, that guy exists, and then he's easy. So, I mean, I think it's a bad boss. I really don't know what the general consensus is of the Rotten, but for me, I don't really like him as a boss all that much. Next up, we're going with Osiros, the Consumed King. This boss, I really like this boss, and I'm going to go ahead and put him in awesome. I'm actually going to put him above Abyss Watchers. That might piss off some people, but I think that boss is so cool, just how he's like holding this invisible baby. I'm pretty sure it's invisible, and eventually he just goes crazy and just murders the fuck out of it and just loses his shit. I think that boss is so cool, and every time I go against him, I'm like super pumped. I really love Osiros. Pontiff Sullivan, again, really like this boss. I'm actually going to put him both over Osiros and Abyss Watchers. Just a really dope-ass boss, the two swords that he's got. I really enjoy it. That's about it. I just really like that boss fight, and I like it more than the other two. Ancient Wyvern, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the bad category, because really, the boss fight is just a run up to the boss, and then you just jump on its head, and then it dies. I don't even know if I would consider this a boss. I mean, I guess you could fight it as a boss, but I'm pretty sure it just has so much health that really it's not great. It's cool, but as a boss, it's just not good. But I wouldn't put it in awful. Awful is like god awful. Skeleton Lords, you're chilling alone right there right now. Ancient Wyvern, that's probably the lowest boss that I'm gonna have from Dark Souls 3 on here. Slave Knight Gale, you already know where this motherfucker's going, alright? This dude's going at Legendary. I think he's better than Crossbreed Priscilla, better than Ornstein and Smo, better than Midir. Is he better than Solar Cinder? I can't say that he is, because Solar Cinder just has that freaking soundtrack, that oomph. And as much as I love Slave Knight Gale, I can't put him over him. Slave Knight Gale's pretty good, but he's not the best of the best, you know. I know a lot of people think that he is the best boss in Dark Souls, like, period, but I just can't agree with that. I'm gonna have to put him below Solar Cinder. I also just realized that I picked one more boss than I should have, so just ignore it, and we'll head back on into Dark Souls 1. Iron Golem, bro's okay. It's Iron Golem. I wouldn't put him above High Lord Wolnir, because at least he has, like, a cool thing going for him, but I would put him above Old Iron King. These motherfuckers are pretty identical in terms of, like, how I feel about them. Gaping Dragon, this boss fight is really cool. I think the whole design of him is, like, nightmare fuel. And he's originally why I thought Dark Souls 1 was a horror game. because I saw this boss and I just thought that this whole series was just horrific. I mean, I guess it can be, depending on how you look at it, but seeing this boss, I thought Dark Souls 1 deadass was a horror game. And I'm going to put him in average, most likely. Really, the only thing to him is you run behind him and hit his ass, and you bait that charge. If you're a master baiter like myself, I'd put him probably above Moonlight Butterfly, just because his whole design is pretty cool. I still really like Moonlight Butterfly, and I know y'all aren't going to understand that whatsoever, but I'm going to put him above Moonlight Butterfly. Seat the Scaleless. This might piss some people off. I don't know. I don't know if people really like him or not. I feel like he's probably a really liked boss. He's going in average. I can't put him any higher than average. And I'd say he's better than these bosses. But y'all about to be hella mad that I'm putting him under Moonlight Butterfly. But shit, y'all can get as mad as you want. That motherfucker ain't going any higher. I don't know. I just I don't like that boss that much, and then the run up to him is ass. I can't justify putting him any higher, so he's gonna stay right there, and it is what it is. I think now we're gonna do Dark Sun Gwendolyn, and I would put this boss probably put them in the average tier. Man, this is starting to get harder the more that I put on here. Shit, I might put them on okay, because really there's not too much else other than like running back and forth between the pillars trying to not get shot by him. Yeah, I think he's gonna go right here, right behind Kersrod Greatwood. I think that's actually a really good spot for him. Just not too special, not anything too special about that boss. I don't know, I feel like most of y'all might actually agree with me on this one. Now, I'm seeing a lot of Dark Souls 2 bosses left, so we're gonna go ahead and hit this bitch with a speed round, alright? I'm not trying to sit here all day on Dark Souls 2 as much as I love that game. Aldia, Scholar of the First Sin. I'm gonna go ahead and put this dude on bad. I didn't really like this boss. I can't say much more. Didn't find it too engaging. Guardian Dragon, I'm pretty sure that's the one that's in the cage. I'm gonna put him in okay, and I might actually move him up past Stray Demon. I remember this boss too well. Let me look it up. I don't remember his attacks all that well. I know that he got annoying because he flew in the air for a shit ton of time. I think just to play it safe, I'm gonna put him under Dark Sun Gwendolyn. Executioner's Chariot, I hate this boss. I mean, I feel like a lot of people are gonna agree with me. I'm gonna go ahead and put him on awful. I didn't find that boss really that great. And it just got really annoying. Having to run through that hallway trying to fight all the skeletons while fighting the chariot. Just stop it. However, I think you pull a lever, some shit, I don't remember. Covetous Demon, that's a bad boss. That's a bad boss. I wouldn't put in an awful, but shit, that's not a good boss. Smelter Demon, I actually like Smelter Demon. I know a lot of people that don't like Smelter Demon, but I like Smelter Demon. I would actually put him above Deacons of the Deep. Maybe even above Taurus Demon? Above Half-Light. I would put him above Old Iron King, above Iron Golem. I don't know. I think, holy shit, Smelter Demon pushes way that far up. I did not think he was going to go that far. I thought he was going to be in one of the lower tiers, but once I started comparing him against all the other bosses, he just kind of fell in place. Shit. Way to go, Smelter Demon. I didn't think you were going to get that fucking far. Ava the King's Pet. I really liked this boss, and I'm going to put her in average. Was annoying to face her my first time around, but the second time playing against her, I actually came to appreciate that boss. I don't remember too much about the actual boss fight itself. I just remember that I liked the boss. I think I'm going to put her above Demon of Song, above Vort, above Seath, but not past Seath. I can't do that. Sorry. We actually got more Dark Souls 2 bosses up here than I thought I would. Maybe I like Dark Souls 2 a little more than I thought. Roll Rat Vanguard, boss's ass. It's gonna go in awful. You're just looking for a rat with a mohawk. That's about it. That's the entire boss fight. Feldstad, I'm gonna go ahead and put him in the high tier average, maybe? I don't know. Actually, now that I think about it, liked his boss fight more than I think I thought. He's gonna go in the good category. I'm not gonna put him above Slumbering Dragon, but I think good is a pretty good category for him. Dragon Rider, he's not bad. He's okay. Is he better than Nashandra? Yes. Demon Fire Sage, of course. Let's move him on his way up. And there. I don't know. I think Asylum Demon wins out on how iconic that boss fight is. But it definitely beats all of these out, in my opinion. Holy shit, we still got a lot of Dark Souls 2 bosses to go. That game is stacked. Looking Glass Knight, I'd say it's average. It was an average boss. I like that boss. The arena's cool, how it's like you're in a storm and everything, and he can summon specters to fight you and shit. I don't remember if it's other players or like Half-Light, or if it's just specters. I don't remember. But overall, boss fight was really cool. I can't put him above Ward though. I can't do that. We'll knock out a couple more of these Dark Souls 2 bosses, and then we'll move back on to Dark Souls 3. So next up, I'm going to do Vendrick. Vendrick, I really like that boss. I think everyone can agree with me that when you walk into there and you just see him walking around lifeless, it's pretty sad, and it leaves a pretty big impact on you in terms of the game's story. So I'm actually going to I'd put it around average just for the sake of like how impactful that boss was, but I can't put him above Flexile Sentry, I don't think. I like Lost Sinner more. Actually, you know what? I'll put him over Lost Sinner, but I can't go any higher than that. Ruin Sentinels, they're okay. I would say they're right on the border of okay and average, but I would put them over Flexile Sentry now that I think of it. So they moved on up a little further than I thought they would. Sir Alone, I would say this boss is probably one of the best bosses in Dark Souls 2, and I would put him probably below Veldstad. Again, a problem with him, that terrible grab that he does with the sword. Hitbox for it is just absolutely atrocious. I don't know. I might put him higher, actually. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and put him under Fume Knight. I'm just gonna leave him there because I know I'm gonna sit here all day wondering whether he's back here or right here. But I think that's a pretty good place for him. Twin Dragon Riders, they serve their purpose of being a duo boss, but are they that great of a duo boss? No, not really. I'm gonna put him in okay. I think that's a pretty good place for him before Guardian Dragon. And we'll leave it off with the Duke's Dear Freya. I actually don't like this boss, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it in okay. In the last tier of okay, just because it serves its purpose as a decent boss that is relatively challenging, but I think it's kind of bullshit with all those spiders. Again, you could just tell me to get good, and you know that's a pretty good stab in my opinion, because I'm not very good at that boss. But like, also I didn't find that boss very fun, but it serves its purpose. Moving on finally to Dark Souls 3, we're finally getting towards the end of the list. I'm going to go ahead and do Demon Prince. I really liked the Demon Prince fight in the DLC. It's pretty dope. It's pretty rough for me too. First time around, that boss kicked the shit out of me. I don't know where I'd put it. I might put it in the... Actually, you know what? I will put it in the awesome tier. I do think that boss fight is really cool. It still presents a challenge to me, which I love. I wouldn't put it above Abyss Watchers, because Abyss Watchers is still a really great fight, even though I probably place it a little lower than what y'all might prefer. But Demon Prince, definitely an awesome fight. Old Demon King, I'm going to also put this, I think, in the awesome tier. It's not only the boss fight that I enjoy, but just the fact that like you walk in and the arena is just full of shit ton of dead demons, and it's a little depressing after you fight him and he does that one last burst of energy to try and kill you, and it just really sets the tone for that whole fight, and that alone would put it into good in my opinion. But being that I also genuinely like that fight, it's going to push it into low tier awesome for me. Aldrich, Devourer of Gods. A lot of people like this fight. I really don't. I think this fight is good, but I wouldn't put it as high as many others might. I do think it's better than most of these. I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty good spot for it. It's a good fight, but not something that I go into just thinking like, man, I've been waiting for this. You know, it's just a good fight. That's really all it is. Back to Dark Souls 1, we got to go with Gwyn. Gwyn, that's an awesome fight. I don't know how it'll rank up against these. I'd probably put it against or above Old Demon King, but you know what? The Plin Plin Plop, bro, that soundtrack go fire. That also beating your first Dark Souls game, that shit go hard as fuck. Like, I remember when I played that, I was just sitting staring at the credits the entire time, just like, I can't believe I just beat this game, because Dark Souls to me was always that like unbeatable game, you know. And so the fact that I was able to beat one of them, it was just an amazing experience. So you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and put him up here above Crossbreed Priscilla, just because of that banger soundtrack. But realistically, it was just a great experience, and the nostalgia from that fight really puts it in the legendary tier. For Dragon Calamite, I don't know how others would rate him, but I'd have to go with good. I think he was a good fight, and I think he is going to be top of the good tier. I don't know. I'd actually, you know what? I'm going to put him under Bell Gargoyles. I don't think the boss fight is as good as the Gargoyles. I also enjoy Sanctuary Guardian more. You know, I enjoy Aldrich more, now that I'm thinking about it. I haven't really enjoyed that boss fight as much as others might. It's a good boss fight, but I feel like many people enjoy it way more than I do. Squalid Queen, I enjoy this boss fight quite a bit, just because she can summon various different enemies to fight you. So I'm going to put her in the bottom of good, just because every time I go in, I don't really know what I'm going to be going up against, and it kind of can be bullshit, because I'm pretty sure she can summon Velstad, and then it's just a freaking crapshoot, but it still adds quite a bit of like uncertainty to it, which makes it always fun. Scorpioness, I'm gonna put her in the average. I wouldn't say I like her more than Flexile Sentry. She's an okay boss. Well, let me say this, average boss, and that's really all I gotta say about her. Ancient Dragon, I think a lot of people might disagree with me on this one, but I'm gonna put him in okay. That's just a really big boss, and I just don't really find him that fun. But I do find him more fun than Royal Rat Authority, that's for sure. But not Nishandra, however you want to say her name. He's just an okay boss. Throne Watcher and Throne Defender, these guys are mad annoying, but they did a pretty good job in terms of a challenge. At least to me they did. And I really enjoyed their fight. I can't say that I enjoyed it like a shit ton, but it still was a fun fight. I would probably put them, man, like I said, this is getting hard the more I put on here. I'd put them either under Capra Demon or over, but I think I enjoyed the Last Giant more. I'm gonna leave them right there for now. I feel like, you know, putting them under is better than putting them over, so we'll just leave it there. Nameless King, you already know where this dude's going. The fact that this dude is like the son of Gwyn, and the whole boss fight is just like, you're on the clouds and shit. It's just all badass. You know, that boss fight was freaking amazing. I didn't have any trouble with him. I actually beat him my first try, you know, old Chad over here. But I just felt like that could have been the final boss. That really could have been the final boss for the game. And I think I heard rumors that he may have been at one point. I don't know if that's true, but that boss fight was just so impactful. I would put him over Gwyn. Ooh, is he better than Ornstein and Smo though? Yeah, he is. I'd even put him over Madir, but I can't put him over Gale. Gale's too good. Gale's too good. Crystal Sage, it's an okay boss. Let's be real. Let's be real here. Doesn't bring much to the table. It's just a mage that transports transports around and shoots crystals at you, and other than that, you're just rolling through the crystals. That's about it. Not much crazy to it. Dance of the Boreal Valley. I'm gonna put this boss in Legendary. I really enjoy this boss. The movements of it are just really graceful, and it feels really satisfying to just be able to memorize that boss's moves. And also the fact that I faced that boss at the start of the game when I killed that like woman who was sitting in the chair or whatever. And I sat there for 3 days straight trying to beat that boss, and I finally won. And it was the most satisfying feeling, I think, or one of the most satisfying feelings I've ever gotten out of a Souls game. That's going to push it up a bit for me. I would even put it over Ornstein and Smough, but that's just because of my personal experience with it. I think for a lot of others, and realistically, Ornstein and Smough is better. But man, it felt great after those 3 days beating her. It was just amazing. Next, we're going Gravelord Nito. I think Gravelord Nito is actually like a good boss, but I don't know if I'd put him in awesome, because comparing him to like the other bosses in good and then compared to awesome, I don't think he even comes close to any of these. Like, story-wise, he is, I mean, obviously he's like one of the 4 lords of Dark Souls 1, but I don't think he is in this realm. I think there's a pretty huge gap between these two, and he's just not able to squeeze in to the awesome tier. Quelaag is another rough one for me. As much as I like her, I don't think she's really going to be that far up on the good tier. I would put her above Calamite, but I think that's about it. I might actually put Calamite above her. I think I'm going to do that. She's still a good boss, but I don't think she is that good. So we're going to leave her towards the middle. Next up for Dark Souls 2, Belfry Gargoyles. I feel like they're just a knockoff of the regular gargoyles. They were okay. A boss fight that I don't remember hardly at all. Just because it didn't leave an impact on me. I mean, I remember Freya more than the Belfry Gargoyles. So I'm going to leave them down here. And I'm okay with that. Giant Lord, another boss that I don't remember all that well. And I feel like a lot of these are going to have the same vibe to them. Like the Baneful Queen, I remember her boss fight a little bit. It's the one where you gotta like drain the poison from the room, or like, I think that's what it is. Or there's more space where you get poisoned. Again, I don't remember too much about that boss fight. I think I remember a lot of these way more than hers. I might actually push her up here, but that's as far as I'll go. Now for Burnt Ivory King, I didn't like this boss fight all that much. I thought it was really annoying, but it was really cinematic. So I'm gonna put it in good, because overall it's one that stuck with me. And I think I might actually push it up. I think I'll put it there. I can't put it above Hume Knight and Sir Alone, but I definitely can put it above these 3, and I'm okay with that. We're gonna do one more before moving on. Pursuer. I like Pursuer. I think he's average though, and I think I'm gonna put him under Lost Sinner. Not too crazy of a boss. I'm gonna just leave him there. Dragon Slayer Armor, I really like this boss, and I'm gonna shove it into the awesome category. This boss fight is just really fun. His whole move set that he does, and the arena where like you have those giant like freaking birds or whatever they are, like they're like nerve birds. Well, that's what I'm gonna call them, nerve birds. You got them floating in the sky doing shit, and it's so cool how I think that's when the sky changes color from like the eclipse that's going on. So I love that boss fight. I'm gonna put it right here. Actually, no, I can't put it above Old Demon King. Old Demon King, like I was saying, that boss fight was really meaningful. So it's gonna be right here. Lothric, Younger Prince. This boss fight again is another one of those really fun ones. I would put it above Abyss Watchers, but that's as far as I can go. It's an awesome one, and I've always had a lot of fun with it, more than Abyss Watchers and the others. So he gonna be chilling right there. Knight Artorias is a really, really great fight. I'm gonna have people very highly disagree with me on this one, most likely. but I'm gonna put him below. Oh my gosh, this hurts doing. I can't put him in legendary. I know the lore behind Artorias is great and everyone loves Artorias, as do I, right? I just don't enjoy the boss fight as much as many of other people do. And honestly, me putting it in awesome is because I like the lore for him. Otherwise, I think he would be very high good. So y'all about to click off the video right here. But Abyss Watchers are better than him. I would even say Demon Prince is better. Knight Artorias, I'm so sorry, but you're gonna be towards the low awesome tier, and man, it breaks my heart putting you there, but that's where you belong, at least on my tier ranking list. Now we're gonna go into Wolf Sif. Again, this is one of those things where I really like this boss fight, but I don't know if I would put it where a lot of other people would. I think I would put it right around Artorias, which makes sense because, you know, Sif is his wolf, but I don't know. I think nostalgia really plays a part in these fights, and they were really good for their time. I came quite a bit late to the series, though. I did play the series in order, but you know, I played 2 and 3 right after 1, so that also does influence my opinion. I didn't have years to stew on these. I went right into the others, so maybe that makes it to where I don't see them as highly as many others do. Old Dragon Slayer, you know what it is. It's just Ornstein, but in Dark Souls 2, and that's about it. I would probably put him at low average, maybe a little bit above Pursuer. I think I enjoy Lost Sinner more, though, so I think that's a really good place for him. While we're at it, let's just go ahead and knock out the Dark Souls 2 bosses, because there's only 2 of them left, and I'm going to go with the King's Pets. This boss fight really challenged me towards the end of Dark Souls 2, and I would put it in the good category. I think around the King's Pet, pretty similar, except you're facing 2 of them, and it's in a damn blizzard, and I think that is a pretty good spot for it. I do enjoy Ava the King's Pet more, but I think I'd put it there. Next up, we got Dark Lurker, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember this boss fight all that much. I fought him my first playthrough a couple years ago, and I just remember it being a bitch of a time to fight him. Being that I don't remember him all that much, probably below Vendrick. I didn't face him my second playthrough, and I don't want to put him too low because I do remember I enjoyed that fight. Dark Souls 2 is just a blur. It is just a blur. I'm not too big of a fan of Dark Souls 2, so forgive my lack of knowledge, but yeah, I really can't recall that boss all that well. Now that we've knocked Dark Souls 2 out of the way, let's go back into Dark Souls 1 and just work our way back up to Dark Souls 3. So first off, Four Kings. I really like Four Kings from a design standpoint. I think it's awesome that you drop down into the abyss and fight them, but I don't know if I'd either put them... I think I'd put them in good, because they're definitely better than Gaping Dragon, right? And then I don't know if I'd put them above Sir Alone and Fume Knight, though, because really it's just smack away and hope that the other ones don't spawn in. I never have actually had to try and avoid any of their attacks just because I'm super tanky with a Zweihander. Is that because of my playstyle? Definitely. But it does mean that I view them less favorably, so I'm going to put them right there. Centipede Demon, never died to this dude, but he still pisses me off with how much he smashes me into the lava, and is just kind of a pain to hit at times. So I don't really like this boss all that much. And surprisingly, I think I'd put him lower than I thought I would. Better than the Ruined Sentinels, but better than Pursuer. I would say better than Lost Sinner. Is he better than Capper Demon, though? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm going to put him by Capper Demon, because I feel like he's somewhere in here. I'll just put him with Capper Demon and they can hang out together since they're both from Dark Souls 1. We'll just leave it at that, alright? And then Manus. Manus is going to go in Awesome. And I don't think I would put... No, I'd put Manus over Artorias. His whole attack set that he has is pretty cool. And the first time I walked in there, I was freaking terrified. And then I beat him first try. So I really like that boss, though, design-wise, lore-wise, all of it. He's a really awesome boss. Time to finish it off. Udex Gundyr. I hope that's how you say his name. And Champion Gundyr. These are going to be essentially the same. I feel like these are the same bosses. I've never noticed a difference in them. And I've played the game multiple times. Maybe I'm just not very observant. I know that obviously they're going to have a couple differences, like he doesn't have the rot growing out of him or whatever. I would put them in the good category. I really liked these boss fights. I would put them probably above Manus. And I think I like the first one better. No, I like Champion better. And let's kick it off. Last boss, I could have left a better one, like a more meaningful boss for the last one. Champions, Gravetender, and Wolf. I really like this boss fight, but I don't know if I'd put it in awesome. I think for this one, I'd probably put it high tier good, because it's a really enjoyable boss fight, but I can't say that it would squeeze its way into the awesome category. It's not one that I'm really looking forward to, but when I go against it, you know, I'm still somewhat excited. We'll leave it at that. Well, everyone, that is it. This is my entire Dark Souls boss tier ranking, and I hope you enjoyed it. I know I had some controversial opinions, most likely, but these are my opinions, and if you do have differing ones, let me know down in the comments, as I always enjoy seeing what bosses are people's favorites compared to mine. And if you are still here, consider subscribing to your boy. I only got a couple hundred subscribers, and generally my videos aren't low effort tier list, so I play a whole bunch of other games including Dark Souls, so I'd really appreciate it.